So, hey there, hi there, hug kiddos. Ooh, I had a cigar in my mouth. Hold on. Hey there, hi there, ho there, kiddos. This is another of those fun bits where I'm up by myself, and I think I wanted to explain the first episode that I think I've already have it uploaded. I may not have it uploaded yet. I'm not sure. Um, but hang on a minute. I do have gameplay in the background. I established what that gameplay was going to be. It's all the videos that I've recorded, not necessarily, not accidentally, but in the same turn, I have recorded them, and it's just me kind of practicing games because a lot of these old retro games I'm not used to. Because I could do these podcasts if I was playing some newer games, a lot of Call of Duty, like shit like that. I'm gonna be really honest with you kids. I don't play video games because I'm like fully vested in them. Not because I'm fully into them, not because I need them, I want them. It's the thing to do with my hands. It's the thing that I enjoy. Like it takes my mind off of other things for a moment, if that makes sense. So oh so I've never ever once told anybody that I'm good at video games. I know that I enjoy them. I know that intuitively I get them. But I've never been a person that's perfect at them. Um, and I'm not. And I love to watch speed runs. I almost think that's just a fantastic, beautiful thing. You know. But I do hope that you guys enjoy this. You guys enjoy this little series. It's not a little series. I think this is going to be a series that's going to go on forever. I think this is just going to keep going on and on and on because I just have a lot of stuff to say. I don't know if we should do movie reviews or we should talk about the weather or we should talk about how my job's going or we should talk about people or fucking politics because that's a fun thing to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about politics. We're not doing that. Uh, you get banned immediate. Not even banned. You just get like a million people that just dislike you. I'm going to be really honest with you kids. My thoughts and opinions and feelings on that is if you're hardcore one direction or hardcore another direction, I guarantee I don't agree with you. Because I agree with both sides on every issue that has ever existed. And I have never been one to say that somebody is 100% wrong. Because there's no such thing as being 100% wrong. There is always aspects of it that are okay. And I realize everybody has that one thing that they're like, no, this can never happen. That's not today. That's not today, and we're not going to get into that. We're not going to be part of it, okay? Have to say this cigar is not suiting me good. It's irritating me. So, you, all of you kids, are going to follow me inside. I'm going to grab my cigarettes. And I will be right back out here to smoke them because this is just about ridiculous. So, my thought process is that in a show like this, in a format like this, that we speak about um, anything that's currently happening, and uh, I don't know how to phrase this. I say currently happening. It's not necessarily what's happening this second, but I I don't remember if I mentioned this in the other video, but and this is probably gonna be loud because I had to pack this pack of cigarettes. So this is probably gonna be very loud. It's gonna be upsetting. It's gonna be bad. So I'm gonna go pa 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 pa. All right, that's good. That's good enough. So. Pardon me, kiddos. Got a little feminine there all of a sudden. So I would say, recently I watched a movie, and I had to preface this. I have to preface this with, I don't want you to watch that movie. If you're the type of person that I am, and you like to delve deep into something that could be lambastically horrific, jump on in. Otherwise, listen to my review and say, oh, that's a cool idea, and that's really crazy. And then just don't fucking watch the movie. Don't do it. I don't want you to. I don't want to hurt you. Don't want to hurt your eyeballs. Don't want to hurt your brains. So, The Climax is the name of the movie, which sounds overtly sexual, and I understand that, and it does have sexuality in it, but it's about a dance troupe, and they got drugged, and they were in. It's a French movie. It's one of those art films. It is what it is, and I thought it was crazy that like this actually happened to some people, and several people actually died. They got drugged on like acid and LSD and stuff like that, and that's wild to me that happened. And then people like died in this little shitty tin shack. Like, and the movie depicts this very well. Like, it gets you to where you know the characters very well. And it gets you to where, like, you feel something for different ones. And you think, well, this guy's an asshole or this person's a nice person. Like, it does a really good job of conveying its message. Like, the movie itself is definitely meant to be an experience more than it's meant to be a good or bad film, if that makes sense. So, I have to say I appreciate that about it. And now, there's another movie. I snorted. Judge me all you fucking want to. This weather is driving my allergies crazy, and I gotta fucking breathe if I'm gonna talk. So calm it down, kids. It is what it is. So, there's another movie that I recently watched, and this is in that horror aspect, because I think I said in the other podcast the biggest thing is that I thoroughly enjoy brutal-tastic, like very visceral, this makes you upset. It makes most people upset to have seen it. I didn't list most of the titles that I've seen that are in that category. I can, but I do not recommend you watching them because they're tough. Like it's not for the faint of heart. It's a rough deal, and if you have access to my channel, then you have access to the internet, so you can just look up the most brutal movies or the most banned in several countries movies. And you can do that in and of yourself. And I'm not going to recommend some of this stuff to you guys. There are some that I will recommend. But there's others that I'm like, I've watched them. But I'm not going to say it out loud. Now I'm going to recommend it. So there's that, too. Had to take a sip of my tasty beverage. But the one, and again, it does happen to be a French film where they speak both in English and in French. The same way that, what the fuck is the name of the movie I just mentioned? The movie I just said. The Climax. And they speak both in French and in English. And they, honestly, the way they transition back and forth, and they're actors and actresses, and the fact you can go back and forth between languages is kind of crazy to me. But in this movie, the other movie, and this is a movie that I do not recommend to everyone. If you are squeamish in any kind of way, if blood, guts, and gore bothers you in any kind of a way, I would advocate that you do not watch this movie. But it is brutality at its most beautiful. It is the epitome of what I would consider brutal-tastic. It is the epitome of something that is... It's beautiful. It's upsetting. It's awful. It's wonderful. The name of the movie is Inside. I believe it's about 2016, 2017. I think I may be way off on the year. I have no idea. It wasn't that far off of the American remake. And the American remake, it's any time that a foreign film makes a movie and then Americans remake it, we just cut the balls off of it. We just remove all the stuff that was why we start with, like why people would watch to begin with. It's kind of crazy. There's another movie called Mommy's Home that's just it irritates me. And don't get me wrong, Naomi Watts is amazing in that movie, but they ruin it. They ruin the whole thing. So what I would say is that movie Inside, it is, with the twists and the turns and the very grotesque way that they show it. Oh my goodness, it's rough. It's so rough that like I was jumping out of my skin watching it, and I'm a guy that watches this kind of stuff. Like Hostel means nothing to me. Saw means nothing to me. Like Cannibal Holocaust I've watched, that means nothing to me. But this movie was like, like hit you in all your feels at the same time that it hits you in all the visceral, that's rough. At the same time. It's an impressive piece, and I think, honestly, like what I was trying to do in the first podcast really was talk about the fact that I like to find beauty in things that are either overlooked, not worth seeing, not worth watching, and in the brutality of stuff. It like if you get past the fact that a thing is very hot to the touch, like if you're gonna touch something, if you can get past, like if you have oven mitts on and you take something out of the oven, then it's your meal. It's the lasagna that you made, and it's delicious and wonderful. I snorted again. Calm it down. Uh, but if you don't have those same oven mitts on and it's that same delicious lasagna and you don't have the ability to have oven mitts, then the lasagna is just burning and pain and fire and awful and it's terrible and how do I get it out of the oven with my bare hands? But if you have the tools to get it out of the oven and to put it onto the table and present it to your family and just enjoy it, then it becomes a wonderful meal. And I feel that same way about movies, stories, poetry. As long as you have the right oven mitts, everything can be beautiful. You just have to figure out how to take it in. There's certain things that are it's just obscenity for obscenity's sake, and there's certain things that are just upsetting just to be upsetting. And I watch those things too. I watch them, I listen to them, I hear them. I'm all about that life. I think it's fun to experience all aspects of things. And I mean, I subscribe to Red Frost Motivation, and they do poems and speeches and stuff that just make you feel better about yourself, or make you like kind of question your life or whatever. But they're it's a big deal, and it's very nice things to listen to. But in the same turn, I'm gonna go in either before, during, or after I am listening to that or watching that, and I'm gonna put on Cabin Fever or something that's just brutal and awful, and I can't help that. Uh, it's just kind of a fascination. It's just kind of a fascination, and knowing that it's just a piece of art. Uh, One thing that I was drawn to when I was in college was Italian Baroque. And Italian Baroque has these fantastic images of this awful stuff happening to somebody. And I was just like, I wrote stories about it. But my favorite story is named after a painting by, I believe, Henry Fuseli. I could be wrong. Called The Nightmare. And I wrote a story about it. And that story I have written and rewritten and rewritten and rewritten because I enjoyed it. I liked the experience of going through that and being terrified. Terrified. Every time that I wrote it, my writing terrified me. It made me afraid of what I was about to write next. What was going to happen to this little boy in bed? What was going to happen to the mom? What was going to happen to the whole scenario? If you don't know the artwork, it is somebody laying in bed with a creature sitting at the foot of the bed. That's why I always cover my toes up. Because they can't attack you if your toes are covered. It's fact. As long as you cover your toes up, guys, you're always fine. Oh, I know I'm silly. I know I don't act right. And I've established that, like, this last video I'm putting Mega Man X, that's the gameplay that's gonna play over the top of it, and I'm playing it badly, and I know I'm playing it badly. I was watching stuff on TV, I was texting baby girl, I was doing other stuff. There's pauses, there's this, there's that. It's if you're watching this because you were looking for gameplay, there's just gameplay in the background. This is just a podcast. This is just me just talking to you guys. I don't even know if that's a podcast. This is just a PSA. Here I am. So I'm here to tell you right now. I'm just happy that I even have people to talk to. Happy you guys are watching. I hope that you enjoy this little vignette, this little bit that I'm doing on the side here, where I just talk to you guys. And I hope that you leave a comment here or there and just say, hey, we want you to play this. I would love to play more games. And if me and baby girl have more time together, we would play games together. Shit. We're just working, it seems like 7 fucking days a week. If you just give me some time, we'll get some content on there. I'm all about that. I think again the other thing in the first podcast that I was talking about was that I have different tastes as far as, poetry and then a brutal movie and then this and then that. I think all that I was trying to say is that you can extrapolate. You can extrapolate beauty out of everything. Poetry is my favorite. Horror movies are my favorite. Stephen King is my favorite. H.P. Lovecraft is my favorite. But also Emily Dickinson is my favorite. Like, what's your favorite movie? Well, The Thing with Kurt Russell, one of my favorites. I would rate that 10 out of 10, 100% of the time. Also, if we're being really honest, I would rate 10 Things I Hate About You with Heath Ledger, where he's running back and forth and singing. I would also rate that a 10 out of 10. So it's just art. It's just what is beautiful to you. I would never in a million years put the John Wick movies anywhere close to my top 10. But damn, they're fun to watch. You can watch bad movies or good. I'm not even saying that they're bad movies, but you can watch good movies or bad movies, and they still have an impact on you. I mean, I truly believe that a big port. I mean, that's why people create anything, is because it meant something to them. And if you can extrapolate their emotion and it means anything to you, I think that's what you need to do. I think that's what you need to do as a human being. I think that's what we all need to do. The only thing that I ask of any of you guys is just understand that I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just saying shit. If you have something to say to me, then say it. That would be amazing. I would love to respond. I would love to be a part of your life in the way that you're already a part of mine, because you're listening. Because you're a part of this. That's why I say kiddos. I mean, I think I kind of got into that in the last episode, but it's just, kiddos means, to me, I'm talking, you're listening. I say that to baby girl. I call her a kiddo. It's how I talk to people. That's how I talk to the people that I work with and that I talk to at the liquor store. Kiddos. Somebody that's willing to listen. Somebody that's like, if I'm talking, you're listening. You're a kiddo. I think it's about that time. I don't know how long I've been recording. I don't have a timer. I wish that I had a better way of doing this, or like a timer or anything like that, but I don't. This is just me. Just sitting here, just a chatting. I snorted. Calm it down, kids. Do we want to do movie reviews? I kind of want to do movie reviews. I kind of feel like the next episode needs to be about some movie reviews. Inside probably needs, and I need to rewatch it, and that's gonna be rough to do, if we're being honest. But I need to rewatch that and make that a thing, and then the two different Castle Freak movies are very interesting to me. If for no other reason than they made them so different, and there was no reason to like completely jump off of where you were at. You know what I mean? You already had the audience at go, and you made it a whole new crazy thing. Like, it's kind of rough. And the second one, or the remake, or whatever you want to call it, isn't better. It's just fucking weird. But it's not bad. I'm not going to say that it's bad. It's a completely different take on what the first one did. And I think, there's people like Rob Zombie. They've done a good job of that. So, once we get our bearings straight on this podcast, I think we're going to have areas that we need to go, and that we can go, or that we can talk about. And I think these first couple is just me putting myself out there, you guys realizing what I can, will, won't say, and what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to do. And I think that's kind of what these first, I can't remember what movie that's from, but it wasn't a date, it was just an interview. That's what all first dates are. Just an interview. So, there's where we are, kids. So, this is Cap saying, hang on a minute. This is Cap saying, this is Cap saying, over and out, kiddos.